One philosopher said that history is essentially the biography of leaders. See, when you write about a leader, you've written about an epoch of a nation at a point. So it is bungled up leadership that is our problem. And we are thinking and still hopeful that this election will give us the opportunity to change our leadership, change the quality of our leadership, and hopefully change the trajectory of this country and redeem Nigeria from this abyss that is sinking into. Rest the drift and hopefully get Nigeria making progress, joining the ranks of the civilized and progressive nations of the world.
All right. Just to remind the listener that this is Nigeria Decides from the Voice of the People radio. And of course, you may pick us also on TV. We are conducting a simulcast, radio and TV. On TV, find us on youtube.com/at VOP TV Live. I hope we got that right. youtube.com/at VOP TV Live. And of course, our radio station remains VOP 90.3 FM on your dial. Again, I think it would be out of place to open the telephone line one more time, just so the listener, who is our reporter on In a Manner of Speaking, will fill us in with what happened. 0700 903 903 903. Let's get you talking. What can you tell us about the process, about your experiences of today? Remember, Nigeria decides, and the future of this republic, we said in the morning, is in the hands of the Nigerian voter or elector. Today is his day, and I have a caller here. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening. My name is, this is my first time calling.
All right, the name is...
My name is Christian Himari.
Okay, reaching us from where?
From Igondo.
Yes, what can you tell us?
I'm very disappointed. Upon all the army that they deploy in Lagos, all this talk, even I will thank...
Did you see any of them?
Sir?
Did you see any of them?
Of course.
Okay.
I was so disappointed after all the armies they deployed in Lagos and all those stupid talk, they still have the audacity and start chasing the people that want to vote. It's not fair.
No. Did I get what you said just now? What did you say just now?
You said?
No, what did you say just now? Who still wanted to see what?
I said that upon all the army that they deployed to Lagos, why all those talk? Why are we still having those talk? Why are we still having those talk? Is it that there is no security in Lagos? Even I still thank God for because Lagos they turn up for the vote, but now they are discouraged. So nobody wants to lose their life.
Okay, nobody wants to.
Let them bring all those army so that they can. It's no. I'm not happy.
Okay, nobody would be happy.
I'm not happy.
Nobody would be happy. Thank you, but keep your radio out of this. Yeah, okay then. 0700 903 903 903. Let's get you talking. Report what you see. It helps what we're doing here. Tochukwu, talk, they say, is cheap. Voting is free. So why Nigerians can't be allowed to vote freely is something that boggles the mind.
Yeah, it's an aberration. It's really sad. It goes to it's just the thing about Nigeria, the Nigerian factor, or why? Well, you said Nigeria is a potentially great country. Why is it not great? So it's the same thing. It's supposed to be free and fair and credible, but why is it not so? It's the Nigerian factor, the greed of the Nigerian politicians, the lawlessness of the Nigerian power elite, the all or nothing kind of politics, the do or die politics of as one of our
do and die.
Do or die, as one of our former presidents said it. Nobody talks like that anymore, but that mindset is still there. It's do or die. And it's sad. We've made it that we cannot obey the law on our own, that we have to coerce or intimidate it into obeying the law. But then the law enforcement officers were there. That's the quandary. The soldiers were out there in full force. The policemen were out there in full force. Why could they not stop this thuggery?
Yeah.
Why could they not stop this conspicuous, obvious disruption of the electoral process? So it leaves a lot to be desired.
And Cyril, we know that elections are not processes. No, they are processes. They are not events. This is a very, very important, a very important way of enhancing democracy. So here we are, and whatever we're doing to and with ourselves would be by choice.
Of course, it's by choice, because the people who are now going about intimidating voters, causing all kinds of trouble, shooting and so on, like we saw in Kogi, very clearly, they were hired. They didn't just wake up in the morning to say, let the devil come upon them, so that they will go and do evil to their fellow Nigerians. So somebody gave them the confidence, obviously.
All right,
say, go.
Let me quickly go to the listener. He's back. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir, I greet you. Your name, where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Mapuluku Ocean.
Okay, the name is...
Yes, indeed. Why they say they want to do election free and fair, but why is it that some other talk will just come to the area and start disrupting? And yet, what are the security that they put it there to? We are so conscious, we are on fear. So they should please try and deploy security agents to come there and guard the electorate. Because the matter is now we are afraid. We are on the line, but
Thank you.
Nothing is working.
Okay. But have you cast your ballot?
Sir?
Have you cast your vote? You don't vote?
I'm yet to cast because the place is a state of confusion.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
So this is the problem, Citizen Jones. Somebody hired them to do what they are doing, obviously.
Yeah.
You can't tell me otherwise. How many people wake up in the world, wake up with the devil beside them, telling them, today's the day. Here is a gun.
Take your gun.
Here is a bullet. And, of all days, election day. So what must happen? You have said it's a process.
Let me take another.
Hello.
Listen.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Yeah, welcome.
I'm Mazi calling from Abulado.
Yeah, Mazi calling from where?
Abulado.
Abulado is what part of
Yeah.
town?
Yes, I'm in the Abulado Technical College Polling Center.
Okay. What part of town is that in?
That's Abulado along
All right.
Mighty Port Harcourt Expressway.
No, I'm sorry, because I'm not too familiar with the map, place names
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah, what can you tell me?
This morning, when we were about to start voting, some hoodlums stormed there to start attacking people.
Wow.
But for the quick arrival of the military men,
Okay.
that don't chase them away, yes.
Have you cast your ballot?
Yes, I've done that.
Okay.
But the one thing they're experiencing there now is shortage of presidential ballot paper.
Oh dear.
Because you have it's more than 2,000 voters there. They are telling us they have only 1,000.
Oh, dear.
presidential ballot papers. So I don't know how they could make up the shortage.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to advise is this: for you to use your medium to advise, they should, bring more security to the system, because most of those hoodlums are still hanging around.
Yeah, that's in the Abula Ado axis, right?
Yes, Abula the Technical College.
Yeah.
The school is a popular college once you get to Abulado.
Okay, then.
From the express road.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. 0700 903 903 and 903. Let's have you report election day goings on. Good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Obiako. I'm calling from Afromedia.
Well, where?
Afromedia is the area along Lagos Badagry.
Okay, then. What can you tell us?
Yes. Actually, what I want to say is, because it is very, very painful to hear that after all these preparations made by INEC, that we still have this problem of hoodlums attacking INEC people. And again, the INEC people inability to report at their posts very early enough, that the voters should come to the station before INEC officials. So what I want to suggest is that our president is listening to all these reports. And when you want to make your report, make it very clear that somebody can pick the result, and somebody can pick the report and pass it on to other people. I believe our president is listening. I believe also INEC officials are listening. And what should happen, what I want to suggest is that the INEC people should cancel all the results anyway there is a kind of fracas. Thank you very much. My name is E.N. Obiako.
Obiako, many thanks. Except that you don't teach INEC what to do in an instance like this.
INEC needs to be taught a number of things. They need to be taught how to come to the polling booths in time. INEC has not proven itself a very responsible organization. So Nigerians reserve the right to teach them and even harass them and instruct them.
Because this, sorry, if I just may, this call for cancellation of a result anywhere there's a problem, we should be careful with it. Because if you keep cancelling results in certain places where a particular candidate has a strength, and then because like I said, assuming this I believe that these people are hired, and then they leave off the areas where certain people have their strength. So in the end, it
doesn't mean there will be. Doesn't canceling mean there will be?
What I meant earlier on when I tried to talk to Obiako concerning that is the Electoral Act 2023 is explicit. Any place where you have the Act recommends that at any place where you have wahala or trouble, the elections risk being cancelled. So do I need to tell the INEC to do this?
Well,
maybe not,
because now the way INEC is acting, I mean, in the past this may not be possible now. But in the past we saw cases where people will be waiting for result sheets and answer. Not answer for election materials to come.
Yeah.
They wait from morning till 6 p.m. Nothing comes. Then they hear about the radio that somebody has been declared winner. Yeah. So I mean, we all of those are part of our history.
Abacadabra election.
So, but I mean, with how far we've evolved, it creates room for us to begin to ask questions. Why, in the first place, is INEC not able to deploy early enough to even in city centers where it should be easy to simply go and do what you need to do and then walk away?
All right. Your calls may now come in 0700 903 903 903. Let's sound you out. How did it go for you? Have you cast your ballot? Do you feel disenfranchised? What happened? And so on and so on. I have a caller here. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
My name is Charles. I'm calling from Ojo local government.
Yeah, Charles Ojo. What's the position there?
Yes, in Teddy, precisely Teddy.
Okay.
The INEC there, we are there as early as 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they came by 11 o'clock.
Ooh.
And the vote started by 12. So
Okay.
that's the problem we have here.
Did you cast your vote?
Yes, I did.
Okay. We thank goodness. Thank goodness. Tochuku, mixed bag. It's not totally stories of war.
No, and there are a few places, or in some places, that INEC came on time.
Oh, yeah.
And there are a number of places too that the hoodlums did not disrupt the process. So in some areas, INEC came on time, voting took place or is taking place peacefully and orderly, which is encouraging. But the point is that there should not be, considering how far we've come, there shouldn't be cases of voters' intimidation. There should not be cases of disorganizing, disrupting the electoral process. There shouldn't be cases of lateness of INEC officials.
All right, let me take yet. Please keep your radio out of this. Keep your radio out of it, please. I want to take you.
Hello?
Yeah, good evening. Please keep your radio out of it, please.
Yeah. Hello, this is Charles.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. What's your name, madam?
Chidinma Williams from Ejigo.
All right, then.
I would like you to really to talk to the INEC. I so much thank God for this time around.
Talk to the who?
I mean the INEC people.
Okay.
So I want to tell you what I observed today. What I observed. I'm just coming in since early morning.
Wow.
In fact, where I registered from, in fact, we discovered that our names were not shortlisted. We will begin to walk and trek for a distance from polling booth to the fifth place where we went there. By the time we got there, we were tired. But I just decided that this year I will not let it go. I must use my last strength to vote.
Have you cast your ballot? Have you voted?
Yes, I voted. But I'm just trying to say that they needed the correction. So many people, and even when we got to the last place I was directed, in fact, they came very, very late. And at the end of it all, it was already 2:30 to 3. And the policeman there came up there, one of the officers started counting us in 10 that after these people, they would, if not God, in fact, something else would have happened at Anoluako Street in Ejibo. So, God, there was a scene almost created, but thank God there was calmness over there. And all of us, they said that when did you people came? And when did you people came that you just want to tell us not to vote and all the rest of them? And God took intervention. Please, the lateness and also what they were changing from pulling both to the other really took most of us a lot of time. Please, we should work on that. So I love you all. I love the changes of this year. And I know God will answer us in Jesus' name. And another thing I observed there also, with a particular party, we have the president and there's nothing like Senate. So, and I don't know how it happened. We are not here to mention a particular person, but at least I didn't like that. And I wouldn't want to let the senators on plane. But it's not my own right, man. So I have to cast my vote for the president and also for the House rep.
Okay.
So And one Amadi needed to be fed to the right man. Thank you. God bless you all.
Okay.
I love you all.
Well
yeah,
done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take your time from us now. 29 minutes to 5. That's the time, and this is Nigeria Decides, I should say. Nigeria Decides, reaching you from Voice of the People Radio 90.3 FM in conjunction with VOP TV Live. Of course, you can get us on TV by simply logging on to youtube.com/@VOP TV Live. You'll get us there. Another caller. Okay, we lost that. 0700 903 903 903. Let's get you talking. I have another listener, I should say, here. Good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir.
This is Genesis.
Genesis.
Calling from Jakonde Estate.
All right, then. What can you tell us?
Well, the voting process here has been peaceful since the morning.
You have voted yourself?
Yeah, I voted.
Okay, then.
So the only challenge we have is, let's say, towards the Okota office.
Yeah.
So I just think the security operatives should beef up their game so we could have a lesser security.
It can only get better, right?
Yeah, it can only get better.
Thank you. Yeah, Cyril, so it's a mixed bag, sort of, you know.
It's a mixed bag, but I think it is mixed more in favor of disorganization.
Okay.
We have pockets of sanity, and like I said, we encourage the resilience and doggedness of the voter on this day. If you're a voter out there who is insisting that you must vote today, we encourage you. Insist that you will vote. May you vote and may your vote count indeed. But what I think that INEC owes us an apology, first of all.
Okay.
Yes, before they must apologize and say, because I honestly can't understand why election day came after long preparations and after seeing what I've been calling a strong appetite for the ballot this year. You even had the woman say how she trekked, they trekked a long distance.
How determined they were.
But how their insistence paid off.
They went to they went to 5 different polling stations. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it was at the 5th polling station that they found their names, that she was determined to vote. And that's the right mindset. That's what Nigerians need.
That's one way of curing apathy.
Exactly. That getting involved. This is our country. This is our right. We reserve the right to choose our leaders. And we will not let go on this right. We must utilize it. We must have a say as to who leads us. That's very important and very encouraging for Nigerian democracy.
And that even when Nigeria enters INEC, if you know what I mean, we will stand. We will not let that discourage us. We will stand and march to the very end. Hopefully, when today is done and dusted, we will pick the pieces and learn our lessons.
Yes.
But for what it is worth today, INEC has not done its best.
No. And the security agencies have done a terrible job too. This talk could not have been marauding. They just could not have been just traversing the city and causing trouble. And
I have a caller here.
Hello.
Yeah. Please, madam, put your radio away from this. I don't want to hear myself on your radio. Thank you.
Hello.
Good evening to you.
Hello.
Good evening, madam. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh dear. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
I'm B.K. Okewu. I'm calling from Ejigbo.
All right then.
I've cast my votes and everything go normally.
Okay.
I just want our people to appreciate some people that they are doing this work. We are human beings. We have to be patient. And whatever we are doing, Let's appreciate those people who are doing this thing. As you know, our hand is not equally. As other people say they are vote, they not do this, they not do that. It's not easy. We have to be patient and be calm. I like the way we did our own at a Jigbin area.
All right.
So please let everybody encourage. There is some things that go right, but you have to be patient. Like the people say, you should tell the INEC, you should tell this. They are trying. It's not easy.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you.
Let us be patient and have to appreciate the people doing this work.
I appreciate the people doing the work, Tochukwu.
Yes, I do.
Patience. She talked about patience. But let's even look at the word patient. Patience. We've been patient since
1960.
1960.
Yes.
And getting to 63 years.
Of patience.
We're still talking about
Has
patience.
it paid off?
It was.
All right. Sorry, Cyril. Let me take. Oh, dear. Lost that call now. Okay.
It took people who realized that they couldn't sit down and wait anymore, that piled the pressure on National Assembly to make the amendments that they make to the Electoral Act right now.
All right. Let me take this call. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
My name is Ken.
Ken, please, we are having noises in the background. We can do away with the noises.
Okay, I'm actually at the polling unit.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, where exactly?
I'm calling from Prayer Estate, Namu Odofin. Prayer Estate, Namu Odofin.
All right, go on.
Hello.
Have you cast your ballot?
Yeah, I want to truly say that, well, like the madam have just said, we need to be appreciative and patient, like patient, good Lord Jonathan.
Oh, come on.
But the truth is that we started planning for this 25th so many months back. I mean, my place to INEC office is about in an open road like today. It's under 15 minutes. But INEC officials still came after 9. They came after 9, and we started. To the glory of God, as I'm talking to you now, people are still being accredited, so are still voting because we insisted anybody, like they said, that came at the right time must vote. And we have a very large turnout. INEC
That's the right thing. It's the right thing to do.
Yes. INEC underestimated the desire of Nigeria, the hunger and the heart of Nigerians. I think that is what is playing out. And our security agents, all their promises from the feelers we are getting is like they should try more. Let me not condemn them, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If people can still move from one point to another to snatch ballot box, some are even threatening. I mean, I've received videos of people who they locked out. They locked them out that if you are not going to vote for a particular party, you cannot come in. And they see how they're having their way. Where is the security agent? Where are the promises from the army, from the police, and the whatever? Yeah. So we need to really up this game because we need a better Nigeria. I didn't vote tribe. I voted for a possibility of a better Nigeria for my own children tomorrow. God bless you, sir.
Bless you too. Yeah, that's the essence.
Yes.
You know.
And the lady talked about patience, which is a virtue, a very...
All right, yet another caller. Good evening to you.
Hello.
Yeah, madam, welcome. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. My name is Michael. I'm calling from...
Oh, okay. You are a man.
Yes, I'm a man. I'm a married man. There's a woman in me. If you call me madam, I'm okay. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. You can call me madam, I will answer.
You got modernized by your wife, eh?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Have you cast your vote? Please. Yeah. Have you cast your vote?
Yes, I have.
Okay. What part of town is that?
Yeah, but we have a challenge somewhere on polling unit number 101 in Santos Layout, Alimosho. They have finished casting the vote. All votes are cast already, and the results are announced. But the officials there are playing hanky-panky. They
How? In
refuse
what
to
way?
transmit it. Yeah, they refuse to upload it. They refuse. And
Upload
they are
what?
trying to make to upload the results from the beavers.
Okay.
They pray to transmit the results.
You are reporting what you saw or what you were told.
No. I'm there. I just left the scene because it's too noisy
Okay.
to make a call to you. Not what I saw. I am Michael. Quote my name. I'm from Alimosho.
Michael, thank you.
Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
From Santos Estate, polling unit number 101.
Okay, then. We
They
got
have
you. We got
finished
you.
casting the vote, and the result made clear, but the officials there refused to upload it. They said they will do it later. And the police woman, the woman police officer there remained indifferent.
Okay.
She didn't want to make a single comment.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, this is eyewitness, please.
Okay. Cyril, how do you react to that?
It's unfortunate. I don't think this is the way. I mean, going by his own report, which he said he saw with his eyes, because he was there, he merely stepped away to make this phone call. If that was the case, but I mean, what can we say? And there's a policewoman there who ought to also, be seeing what's going on. And hopefully, so they should just keep watching and see what happens.
Yeah, they should just
stand there.
Yeah,
yes.
remain there.
Yeah,
and insist.
Insist, yes.
That
we saw it in Katsina when they voted and waited for the votes to be counted.
Yeah.
So you wait there and see what they do.
All right. Good evening to you. Welcome.
Hello, Dad.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine.
Your name? Where you're calling from?
Okay, Bright. Yeah, no shooting.
Okay, Oshodi, not too far from
Yeah.
here. Yeah. What can you tell me?
Honestly, the whole process is messed up. In the morning when we came out to vote at our polling unit, MC Ulomo came. Even before he came, his voice had been disturbed.
Do you know him?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Even before he came himself, his voice had been disturbing. So when he eventually came, he came up with the lousy excuse that is online, that about 5 Yorubas have been killed in Anambra State when they went to vote. That before he doesn't want to come out, but because of this, he's coming out. If you know you're not voting APC, leave Korea on the queue. If you know you're not voting APC, just leave the line. That he's not coming to disturb anybody. If you know you're not voting, just leave the line. It's only when you're on the line and you vote any other party other than APC that's when you have problem with it. And for people that doesn't have that mind, people were just leaving one after the other. For some of us that even insisted we waited. He has some people that will follow you to where you are casting your vote and see who you're casting for.
Oh.
So when I knew that has become the issue, I had to quietly leave. And the issue there is that the security...
Did you cast your vote?
I did not. I just have to leave.
Okay.
Because the issue there is that even the what's it called now, the police people were there. They couldn't do anything. Because he had an hotel not far from the polling unit. It's called Akima Hotel.
Right.
And that Akima Hotel, even the West so-called soldiers, you see them, they will go inside the hotel and come back. Tell me, soldier that went to that hotel
they are not so-called soldiers. They are soldiers, okay?
It's unfortunate because they are not performing like one.
You don't say they are so-called because they are uniformed.
They will come out and start. So how would they be able to make any arrest? The lady that was even, in fact, that lady, she was so lucky. When I say she's lucky, she was so lucky because while he was making that giving that order, if you know you're not voting for APC, leave this place. So while he was making all this comment, the lady was actually covering it on her phone. And unfortunately for her, she was caught.
Caught by who?
His boys, the MC Ulomo himself and his boys, they caught her that she was making video. And they seized her phone, they slapped her, they first beat her up there, seized her phone.
Right.
So we're now searching through the phone. And after she has been covering them for a long time.
Thank you.
So they seized her phone and left with it.
It's very sad that this, they call them non-state actors, can just impose their will on Nigerian electorates. And with the soldiers there, policemen there, and they say nothing. do nothing, come out openly and say that if you're not voting for a certain political party, you should do that, should be criminal. That should be a criminal offense. And with the police there doing nothing. So it goes back to the thing about patience.
All right. Just a minute. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, welcome. Your name, where you calling from?
My name is Manuel from...
But please, I'm begging you, put off your radio or walk away from it, please.
Yeah, I put it off.
Okay then, go on.
I call it from Igbele, like...
All right.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Have you cast your vote?
I did not cast any vote, as in they came and scattered everything, as in...
What do you mean by they? What is they?
Sir?
They came and cast and scattered everything. Who are these they?
Just now, this some talks around the community just came around and started chasing everybody with bottle cutlass.
Oh boy.
So the boys, I don't know how about them.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
So
I swear.
Thank you. Thank you.
And a lady who was videotaping it was slapped, her phone seized.
Harassed. Yeah,
her phone seized. So this is just too much. It's too much for the nation, for Nigerians to take. And you see, the thing was that I want to still make a point on this issue of patience. Because there's a place you draw a line between patience and cowardice. There's a place you draw a line between patience and slavery, and patience and stupidity. The children of Israel were intimidated by Goliath for 40 days and 40 nights. They were being patient until an impatient man arrived, David, and salvaged the situation, saved them from the intimidation, the harassment.
So we're expecting another David
No,
here.
No. I'm not expecting, and then defeated Goliath and cut off his head. The black Americans were patient for hundreds of years, at least 100 years after the emancipation, till an impatient man called Martin Luther King Jr. arrived on the scene.
And eventually the dream was realized.
The dream was realized. So too much of patience is not good. It was.
You want to help him here?
No. It was
too much patience.
It was. What was his name? A certain American senator that once said, "Extremism in defense of freedom is not a vice."
All right. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Madam, do something about that radio. Please, I'm hearing my voice over your radio. I don't need it. Walk away from it.
Okay, good evening.
You have not. You have not put it off. You have not.
Put it off now.
Okay. Yes, Cyril, you were saying.
Yes, I was going to. No.
So where do you strike the balance between patience and
stupidity?
And the thing is, as far as Nigeria is concerned, and when they tell you be patient with us, and you just know that they are lying to you, they will use time to steal more money and so on. Some young Nigerians came together to say, we waited enough. Now it's time for us to act. They took a bill to the National Assembly, put pressure. Today, that woman that went to 5 different polling units, if it was before, she wouldn't even be able to vote again today. But now with beavers and everything, she was still able to vote. You had said that she thanked God for the current system we have that made them to be able to vote.
Yeah.
They were still able to vote. The other person said they waited for INEC since around 7:30 a.m. The INEC arrived at 11, and by 12 they were done voting. So the speed is commendable. You know, citizen, you look like you want to take a call.
Yeah. There's a caller here. Good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Jones. Good afternoon.
Well, Mr. Hussein is better. Mr. Jones did for Animal Farm. Yeah, welcome.
Is it not Mr. Jones anchoring?
Mr. Hussein, Citizen Jones, if you like.
Okay, but all right, it's okay. Good evening.
Yeah, I greet you. Your name, where you're calling from?
Yes, I am calling you from Alimocho, Ikondo, Arkansas, precisely. Chibogo is my name.
Okay, what can you tell us?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm not able to go to where I registered before. I did every effort because there's no movement. I did every effort to get the attire, but I couldn't. But my two daughters, I made sure my two daughters, went to vote, and the report they brought to me is exactly what I want to share with you.
Okay. Except that it would have been better if we had the report in the daughters' voices.
But they are not here right now with them at home. They are in the shop.
Go on.
But the information I have is that one of the Arkansas 026 polling unit, the talks there scattered away with the ballot boxes, and there was no police presence there. They scattered away with it, and local government primary school, the same Gonda Arkansas unit 016. That place, they voted, but INEC officials refused to count the vote before the people had carried it away.
All right. That's what your daughters told you.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's where each of them voted in each of those places I mentioned.
Okay. Many thanks, sir.
All right.
Yes, Cyril.
So do we need patience to resolve issues like this?
You don't. It's just simply to sanitize the system, because we can.
And in sanitizing the system, people may sometimes be reckless. People may sometimes...
it's as if you are listening to a very bad record, Thugs came, scattered everything.
But that's all I've been hearing all evening.
It's like a recurring decimal.
That's how the solution to this problem is that elections must become impersonal. We must embrace technology in a way that somebody can vote from his phone. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And those who don't
if you can transfer
money,
or whatever, or telephone, you can.
Yes, but you should be able to. And then, even if you went to a polling booth, for example, it should be all biometric. So the moment you put your finger, now they say accreditation plus voting, but from the time you put your finger on the machine, okay, if you are a registered voter and you're eligible to vote, automatically it does two things at once. And you can vote and just go away.
But until we reach that ideological ideal point, what happens? And if the security agencies that are deployed everywhere will end up doing nothing to protect the electorate in casting his vote, in expressing his civic right, what do we do before then? And what's the object of this? There are 412,000 Nigerian policemen and women deployed across the country for this election. And if they have chosen to be redundant, if they have chosen to do nothing to protect the Nigerian electorate to vote in peace, what's the objective of putting them there? So that's the question. So until we become technologically advanced as you wish, what do we do for now? How do we handle the situation?
Tochukwu, we're still playing catch up. And you expect that this system came to Nigeria in the early 2000s, 2003, 2002.
What system? Our problem is not with the system. Our problem is with, like Cyril said, that these people were paid, these people were instructed, these people were armed. So it's not the system, it's not the beaver, it's not the ballot box. It's just human beings who are out to disrupt the process because they think it's not serving their purpose.
All right, sorry. We have a reporter here. MC Chooks is here. MC Chooks, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Where are you at?
Currently, I am speaking to you from Ejigbo. Poly Unit 121, specifically located at Orchest Street.
Okay.
in Ejigbo LCDA here in Lagos.
Yeah. So what can you tell us?
Okay, currently this is 4:55, and as I speak to you, the senatorial votes are being counted. They just finished counting that of the House of Assembly. They just finished
No,
counting
House
that
of Reps.
House of Representatives, I mean to say.
Yeah.
House of Reps. They are counting that of the House of the Senate.
All right.
Right now. From what we got, there are three major parties that got major votes of the electorate here, and from that, where the chairman of the LCDA casted his vote about 3 hours ago. So far, so good. It's been relatively peaceful here.
All right.
That some people had challenges of locating their polling units because there were some shifts, and even when they went to the place they were originally supposed to cast their vote on, they told them they couldn't vote there. So they had moved and moved and moved. Eventually, some didn't eventually cast their vote. So that's the little issues we had, and that's not so much.
Okay then. Now let's take let's join INEC now for an update, a broadcast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Politicians don't come again. Politicians don't come again.
Have commenced. Between the last briefing and this one, we have taken a proactive step by meeting with the Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor, and the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The idea is to strengthen security as we move to the next stage of the process, which is the collation of results in locations where voting have been concluded at the polling units. I would also like to say that in Edo State, we had a situation that we handled yesterday. One of the parties whose acronym is on the result sheets, but the logo is not on the ballot paper, in a federal constituency, after meeting with the stakeholders, the decision was taken, since the materials are intact, to countermand the election. So we have suspended the election for Esan North, Esan South, and Igweben. The ballot papers will be reprinted, and the election will now hold along with the state constituency elections on the 11th of March. That is in the next 2 weeks. We are determined that no Nigerian should and would be disenfranchised. So we have been responding to some of the situations as they arise, and we are going to do so overnight. There may be no opportunity for us to brief Nigerians again between now and tomorrow, but if need be, we'll make an announcement and do a briefing before we then open the collection center tomorrow. So this is the update on the situation nationally. But as I said, observers, the media, and all others are also keeping their eyes on the processes, and would like to hear from you what you have seen and what more we need to do. In my earlier briefing, I said that the technology actually optimally performed, generally speaking. We're really happy nationwide. This is the first deployment in a major national election, and the technology has given a good account of itself. Yes, we have lost ballot boxes here and there, but it appears that the targets of thuggery is now the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS. But we will continue to protect the process and will continue to proceed courageously to ensure that we conclude this in a very free, fair, and credible manner. We are willing to listen to your comments and take suggestions and observations. But as I said, we are in the middle of the election. So we'll take a maximum of 3 interventions because we have to go back to the situation room and to continue to monitor the situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, INEC. Please, if you want to ask any question, maybe make your observations or make any comment, kindly indicate. The mic will be brought to you.
Good evening, Chairman. My name is Harry Awurumibe. I report for Prompt News, online newspapers. Mine is, you mentioned when you were briefing us that beavers, from the information you have gathered across the nation, have performed optimally. But then the bad guys are targeting beavers. And knowing now, and you've met with the chiefs of security, now counting has started. And those beavers are going to be brought to racks. And the bad guys, especially in Lagos, and I'm from Imo State, Okigwe in particular, Olo, Osu, they're gonna target the beavers and hijack them. What are you doing about that?
Okay. Good evening, the chairman. Good evening, colleagues. I am Princess Ekwi Ajide of the Anambra Broadcasting Service. Sir, I want to know what will happen to the results that will emanate from Urokwe Primary School and Umwezilibu Hall or Zobolo, where the ad hoc workers did not come, but voters volunteered and started the work. So incidentally, in some places, they voted, they did the accreditation and waited for some hours before they started voting. So what will be the outcome of the result from that place? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman. My name is Ogochukwu Okoronkwa and I report for Radio Nigeria. A colleague of mine that went to vote at Tungamaji FCT Health Center polling unit said that out of the 5 polling units, that thugs came and made away ballot boxes belonging to 007 and 014. He now said that the people now mobilized and started beating them before the police came, dispersed the people, and later now went out again with the ballot boxes and the ad hoc staff. So for people that were supposed to vote at 007 and 014, voting ended for them. So she's now asking, will there be another opportunity for them to vote, or is that the end of the voting experience for them? Thank you.
Thank you. Please
just
allow
follow up, sir.
Honorable Chairman to answer those questions, please.
Okay, sorry, I crave your indulgence. I know that there are many, many people who have many, many good questions to ask and suggestions to make. But we are in the middle of an election. And we have to go back to our situation room. That's why we have limited the interventions to 3. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity for us to respond, to hear from Nigerians. After all, In our situation room, we have the ICCC, the INEC Citizens Contact Center. And through our social media handles, you can still contact us live and direct, and we will be able to respond to the issues you have raised. And so many Nigerians have been responding and drawing our attention to situations to which we have in turn also been responding. So I crave your indulgence. I'll respond to these three quick interventions, and then we go back to our situation room. The first one is the security of the beavers, particularly now that we are going to the next stage. At the polling units, remember, after the ballot papers have been sorted out and counted, and the result sheets duly signed by the presiding officers and the agents of political parties, will snap the picture of that result sheet and upload on the IREV portal. So the question is, what happens? This is partly why I said in my opening statement that we met with the security chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, the National Security Advisor, and the Commandant General of the Security and Civil Defense. Yes, people are targeting the beavers, but remember also, in our planning for the election, we have made contingency arrangement. In none of these areas where the beavers was targeted was election not held as a result of the absence of the beavers. The highest number came, as I said, from Safana local government area of Katsina State. And as I said earlier in my first briefing, the police, working with the commission, have arrested the hoodlums and recovered 3 out of the 6 beavers, and the manhunt for the other people is ongoing. So we have taken sufficient measures to make sure that we protect the beavers' machines. Remember, we'll use the same machines in the next 2 weeks for the governorship and state assembly elections. So we're not joking with this situation at all. It's critical to the conduct of credible elections. Princess from the Anambra Broadcasting Service, results emanating from a primary school where voters volunteered to conduct the election. I know that the commission appreciates the work of volunteers. That's why we rely on ad hoc staff or temporary staff. But these are staff engaged by the commission, not staff who engage themselves on behalf of the commission as good Samaritans. So I'm not aware of the specific details of this situation you describe in Anambra, but as soon as we go back to the situation room, I will place a call to our resident electoral commissioner in Anambra State. So we'll find a way of dealing with this situation. Finally, the issue of Tunga Maji, raised by our sister from Radio Nigeria, that thugs made away with some of the election materials before voting could be concluded. So are we now going to resume voting in these locations again? So what we'll do immediately after this meeting is to call our resident electoral commissioner for the Federal Capital Territory and find out exactly what the situation is. Surely, if there are still voters on the queue at Tungamaji, what I have described earlier will apply to that location as well. Anybody who was on the queue before 2:30 will be allowed to vote, even if voting goes well beyond the official closing hours of the polling unit. So we'll find out as soon as we leave this place. So once again, I thank you and I thank Nigerians for their understanding and patience. We are making really very, very steady progress and will continue to ensure that nothing truncates our democracy or truncates the will of the Nigerian people. Our allegiance is to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and our commitment is to the Nigerian people. I thank you very much. But before we close, in case there is need to issue another statement again, we will at short notice inform the media because they are here. But as a matter of course, I would like to invite you at midday tomorrow for the official opening of the National Collation Center for the 2023 general elections. We hope later tomorrow we expect to have some of the results of the election coming from the states, particularly for the presidential election. So the situation room, the collation center for the presidential election will be opened at midday tomorrow, Sunday, the 26th. Thank you very much.
That was the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Cyril, what do you deduce from what he has told you? Well, or what you heard?
Yes, so this is basically a situation report, what we call a CTREP sometimes. Yes, an update of what's going, of what has happened today and how INEC is also keeping pace with goings on across the country. Again, we also saw the questions being asked by journalists. I was particularly surprised by what I heard from Anambra State about INEC people not coming. So this is not just a Lagos issue. It's nationwide, I believe. It's in many places. I think somebody called in from Kaduna to also say that INEC people didn't come early. This issue has to be addressed once and for all. In 2 weeks' time, we are going to the polls once again for State, House of Assembly, and governorship elections, as well as some elections that the INEC chairman said that were cancelled. Yes, in Igweben.
That's Edo State.
Yes, Igweben and I think Esanot and one other place. And all in Edo State. These issues, I mean, if in 2 weeks' time they're able to go back to the drawing board and see where mistakes were made, where loopholes were, of course, made, and then they want to rectify them, that would be absolutely welcome. As for the case of Anambra, where good citizens couldn't wait any longer and had to mobilize themselves to conduct the elections for INEC, I think the chairman has tacitly told them that isn't really in their books, but that, which I thought was a political solution, but that he would go back to the situation room and put a call across to the REC and find out what really might have happened. The same thing was reported in, is it one margin in Abuja, a place where people came to snatch ballot boxes. Now, for me, I was even wondering, INEC has a situation room, and in all of these cases that have been mentioned, the chairman has said he was going to call the RECs. But I'm wondering if there is a situation room in the first instance, if there is an online report feedback platform, as well as social media handles. So far, haven't they been getting feedback from those channels, and how have they been able to resolve them? Because I think across the country, the music is the same. Late arrivals, talks coming to, almost everything that has happened has been blamed or has been on the crest of late arrival of INEC staff. So what exactly is the issue, and how does INEC want to resolve? I think these are the matters that
it tells you it's more of taking one step, 4 steps forward, 10 steps backward. You talked about the virtue of patience earlier on. Do we still talk about patience here?
No,
or getting it right?
Not in this context. We've been more than patient. And over the years, INEC, there was this improvement, and we had our expectations were high. INEC has improved. Anambra election was a free, fair, and credible. The Osho election was quite impressive. So we've thought we've gone beyond this point. We shouldn't be patient. One thing is that Mahmoud caught the aura. There's this aura of dignity, honesty, credibility about him. Believability, that's the word. Yes. So he talks as somebody who is for real, who is genuinely determined to do his job right. And I'll give that to him. I think he means well. But then with all we are seeing, you wonder as to who has really been compromised Is this INEC? Is it INEC at the lower echelon, or is it the security?
Somebody somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But Mahmoud looks as though he's above the fray. He's
mean.
Yeah. The aura about him is like
that mean.
Yeah, like I am dignified. I am elitist. I am royal. I am above it all.
More than anything else, I'm in charge. I want to be seen to be in charge.
I am in charge. I want to do a good job.
Yeah.
So, but something has gone wrong, and we have regressed. So, with this election is quite a regression from where we thought we have.
Tochukwu, but that's true. But bad things also happen to good men.
Yes.
Good people, yeah.
Yeah, but the saying is that out of every 12, they say Judas. So if this...
As a general rule.
That's the saying. So if this was... If there were pockets of thuggery, we would not have been terribly disturbed. But it's like there were instances, many of such instances. A lot of disruption, running away with the polling books, intimidating the voters, shooting in the air, and most disturbingly, with the security agencies doing nothing. That's the sad part. So, we are taking some steps backwards in this election, and that's very, very disturbing. Very, very, very disturbing. It's something that must be worked on, because he talked about two cancelling election in two.
Essence, north and south, and Igwebe.
Evidently, there will be more of it. As the results trickle in, there will be more of such cancellations.
More so, the situation room has come into the picture now.
Yes.
That room tells me it's like a clearinghouse, I see.
Information from across the country will be.
Yes, I wanted to put some perspective to the point that Mr. Ezukama was advancing. The people, and this is assuming without conceding, that this problem we are seeing is coming from the lower rungs of INEC's, structure or leadership or hierarchy. Usually the small fries in the chain are not afraid only of their bosses in the office. They are afraid of so many things. So, for example, some politicians could be very powerful. That if it looked like you didn't play ball with them when they needed you, once they became senator or governor, they could pull
good night.
They could pull any
to reasonableness.
So for that, it's a case of somebody throwing the stick at the carrot at you, and also raising the stick on your head and saying, "Come, it's only a matter of time. You either play ball now, or in future you go hear them." So it's the Nigerian issue here. For me, I think that this looks like a tall order, but to make Nigeria work, Gowon used to say during Civil War, you say to keep Nigeria as one is a task that must be done. But that's a task that could come at the cost of lives sometimes.
Human life.
Yes. And so, if as an INEC official, for example, you insist on doing what you ought to do the way you ought to do it, and you face a risk, are you willing to put your country ahead of your own personal interest? I think that for a lot of us, Nigeria has not given us good reason to do that.
Yes.
To call itself a deserving nation. That's why people who, and come on, I salute their courage. These women who trek, the woman who called in and said that she trekked and she told herself she was going to vote even if it was on her last strength. It is because she wanted to vote for a man or a woman that she believed could turn things around. Otherwise, Nigeria as it is today, a lot of people know. I mean, why do you have the Japan syndrome, for example? People have said we want to give it our best, but our best doesn't seem like Nigeria is, is even in need of it. There was a time a particular federal institution organized a job test. The person who came first was not even hired. And I mean, for a lot of people, these stories are bound in so many places. We're in a country where the third tier of government, the LGA, now looks like it has no business being around, as if it's just created to, just as a necklace, just to be there, to be seen, but never to be heard or to act or do anything. So how do we significantly, effectively, consciously, and deliberately move this country from where it is to where it ought to be? Moments like this matter.
Yes.
A day like this is pivotal, because whatever turns on it has turned permanently, at least for another 4 years.
Yes.
You cannot change leadership overnight, especially in this system of government that we practice. You couldn't say you wanted to impeach a president, recall a senator, whatever it is. You can't do it. If you're out there and you are something in you sincerely and genuinely yearns for a new nation, my brother said the first thing you should do is to reject their money and do the most you can to vote your conscience. We talk about people who went to a particular polling unit. Somebody came and said you can't vote. If you're not voting for a particular political party, be on your way out. We need leadership that comes to say, for the presidential, governorship, House of Representatives, Senate elections, as far as you are a bona fide Nigerian, you should be able to vote from just any part of the country, even the diaspora. Quite frankly speaking, but it will take visionary leadership to do that. And until you vote in the right man, they will not bring these changes. I mean, even these beavers, okay, and everything we have in the electoral law now, we are things that the president would have signed into law as early as before the 2019 elections. After a long rigmarole, the president said the changes were coming too close to the election. But on his watch, in 2023, we implemented not only a new electoral law, but also a currency redesign that took money out of virtual circulation.
And then we are working on the census too.
And we are patient.
Yeah.
We've been patient for 6 months, no fuel. We are patient.
We are patient.
I think that we need to bust. The demon of wrong leadership must be kicked out of this country now.
Extremely important.
We need to vote right.
You talked about people being afraid of a number of things. One thing people are afraid of is also their financial stability. What happens to me when I leave this job? Based on what I am paid, what really becomes of my family and I after the job? So we are afraid of a lot of things. And when you choose to stand up for what is right, sometimes it backfires on you. It does not pay. You suffer so much for it. So that's where the problem of the average Nigerian is. I once had a job. After I did my HSC, I got a job, and my boss at this job, our supervisor, I'll call him, was a very honest man. We worked in Enugu Urban Council. We collected, what do they call it, property tax. So every house in the urban area, Enugu urban area, paid us taxes. My supervisor's colleagues made so much money, built houses in Enugu in their hometown. But my immediate supervisor was broke because he didn't play games. He would say Achoshinam, Amashinam, Agwashinam, the dialect, Igbo dialect of Ogwashu, where he came from.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't tell me. I did not hear. I don't want. But this man with his family lived in one room in Face Me, I Face You. And his colleagues were living in their houses. He just suffered so much, worked so hard, had diabetes, and died. But he was incorruptible. So people will see such stories of honesty, standing up for justice, but in the end, get nothing for it. So how do we start rewarding people for
doing the right
thing? Meritocracy. How do we have merit in the system? We do not have it for now. And that makes it hard for people to do what is right in the face of danger, in the face of fear. So compromise, Nigerians will continue to be compromised at different levels, So, and that is what is complicating the process. So we keep moving on. We'll get it right.
So
Tokchuku,
Yes.
I agree. We keep moving
by
on.
the grace of God.
We keep moving on.
By the grace of God.
I agree. But
now God go help us for this country.
we are enjoying that grace now. But making a meal of it is what bothers me. What do I mean? We are human beings, so we are liable to mistakes. But then admitting these mistakes and learning from them is key.
Yes.
We've made one mistake too many. Cyril Tochuko, are we learning from these mistakes?
I don't think we refuse to learn. Sometimes the system does not encourage us learning. Sometimes we don't want to pay the price inherent in learning. It's like many Nigerians these days want to pass the exams without studying for it. Now we have special center. I saw a lady who was preparing for exam. I said, young lady, I've never seen you for once read. How can you pass your exams if you don't study for it? He said, oh, I registered for a special center. Then I didn't know what was a special center. And I said, well, Miss, what is special center? So when she explained what is special center, then I understood why she...
But I can say thankfully that the new JAM has made nonsense of so-called special centers.
For real?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because,
for real?
Because of the, what's it called? Is it not the computer-based test?
The CBT, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know about it.
No, special centers have become things of the past.
Okay. So it's all computerized.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so you
good.
can't cheat.
As far as you don't install an app that can enable somebody in a remote location see what's going on your computer, it's your best bet.
But here this, no government, no party, and no army is stronger than the people. You know, as you've heard from the phone calls.
Potentially.
Yeah, the resolve of a people can stop the strongest of armies. It's known as people's power. Nigerians are ready for a new country, the country of their collective dream. So the politicians won't stop being who they are.
So quite frankly speaking, I even wanted to ask the question. If a man or woman came to you and wanted to give you money in exchange for your vote, what does that even tell you in the first place?
Yes.
It tells you that the person is poor in ideas. It tells you that the person does not have what it takes to deliver the society you're looking for. Otherwise, if you have the idea and it can be sold and it can and you can bring it to pass, why do you need to put money in the mix? So this whole thing about vote buying and money, sometimes we laugh about it and say, you don't know what they talk, but the reality is that for as long as they continue to buy your votes, you have no say in even criticizing them. You couldn't do that. Anybody who wants to buy your vote is only telling you that he does not even believe in his own competence to deliver. So we need to look at this issue critical, and that's why I've said that the new president who comes when he wins must be a man who is willing to lead by example. It matters. When we say merit, a leader must embody the values that he hopes to see in society. If he cannot personify them, he has no business telling us to endure, say for example, say to endure hardship. The president says endure hardship when you're voting 90 billion naira for food in Aso Rock. That's not going to happen. In America, the president feeds himself from his salary in his pocket.
Yeah.
But here you vote hundreds of millions for presidential haircut, for presidential hospital.
If you have,
when you can find a syringe there.
If you have 31 children, the state feeds them.
Goodness gracious me. And believe me, in 4 or 8 years, they are all going to become billionaires.
Yeah, and 100 million naira was utilized to renovate the kitchen in the vice president's house.
Who does that?
So that kind of waste, that kind of mindless extravagance.
It's a culture. It's a culture. The culture of waste has permeated the country.
Jones, can I just put this in? Bless his soul. Chief Bola Ige went to Abuja to resume as Minister of Power and Steel, 1999, if you remember very well. He arrived at the airport, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. They came to pick him up. it was a convoy of nearly 20 or more than 20 cars. No, believe me. 20 or more cars.
For a minister.
Yes, minister. He went to resume as minister. A convoy of 20, a little less than or a little more than 20 cars, vehicles, went to pick him up at the airport. What does that even mean? You know, one of the candidates has been contesting on the strength of the kind of government he had run as a governor and the kind of government he wants to run if he became president. We don't need 10 to 15 fleet, presidential fleet, helicopters. What are they all doing there?
Nothing.
You know, it's all the culture of waste. Even if you begin from dealing with the issue of waste, you would have done a great thing.
Of course, the waste in governance.
Because those monies, you couldn't tell me that you voted billions to buy food in Aso Rock and that change didn't remain. When farmers in what are you even buying and cooking now? Is your shopping mat in the moon?
I think in 1 year, 45 million was voted for newspapers for the vice president.
When everything is online.
Yeah.
Online.
At most you subscribe. Is it New York Times you want to buy? Are they going to be importing New York Times to Nigeria? So this is the issue.
Or is it difficult to find an online SA also?
Yeah. So in order not to take anything away from it, there is a lot that has to change. Begin with how the president does things in his personal space.
Yes.
When Nigerians begin to say that this man is sitting up, things will change. Okay, we don't need this situation in which the president comes and says he will run the lean government, and then by the time he's leaving office, he has done worse than what he thought than what he promised to do.
Because the present administration had promised to sell off some of the planes in the presidential fleet. That was not done. And nobody asks question, nobody says a word. You talked about selling of vote. A man who wants to buy your vote is telling you, I have nothing to offer you. Based on merit, I shouldn't be elected to this office. I cannot sell myself to you in any way, but just give me your vote because I will pay you. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The man is not qualified. But that's for somebody who wants to think. That's for somebody who has options, financial options to reason. But for the average man who is hungry and wants to, I didn't tell you a story. The thing is that during this crash crunch, it hit me real bad. And the other day, Citizen Jones gave me 1,000 naira. New money.
On radio.
New money. New money. That is the new currency.
He's in the privileged class.
And I was telling a friend, I told a friend that getting this new 1,000 naira after weeks of waiting, the money seemed too big to me. He was like more than 1,000, like 5,000.
Please, let me share some interventions. Some messages have come in. Victor Nwoke Dozie, the silence of REC in Lagos State is a pointer to partisan interest, which has eventually given birth to people being disenfranchised in Lagos State under the very watch of security agents.
Yes, it's something we have been talking about.
Okay. Ogo Mbaka, I hope I got that right. See the Lagos, they said they developed behaving like animals and stuff like that. Asa Bosa is saying, continue deceiving yourself that the issues are not suffocating you. Some of the issues we are raising here are suffocating enough, if you ask me. They are. Yeah.
So that's the problem with the poor. They've been poor for so long. So a little amount of money they'll be so excited by very little amount of money. Say a man comes and says, I'll give you 10,000 naira to sell your vote for me. Immediately they forget all the logic. They forget all the philosophy, the reasoning behind democracy. The important thing is what this big amount of money can do for them on the spot. The man remembers the beer he can drink I can buy my wife pepper soup where I go chop. My children go eat rice.
In the evening.
I go buy chicken. My wife, where they hassle me, I go give them a few thousands of naira, and the man willingly, happily sells his vote. So all the talk about you've disenfranchised yourself, blah, 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 does not matter to him. There's certain saying says, a certain writer once wrote, to mix the politics of openness, that's democracy, with the economics of poverty is a dangerous experiment. And that's what we are doing. We are mixing the politics of democracy with the economics of poverty.
All right. And I insist, being poor does not suggest that you must be mad. You must be crazy. Have you heard this statement, Cyril? If a criminal becomes a politician, it's the fault of the people. And if a system fails to checkmate this, the people are also to blame.
They are, but I think the term people there could be relative. I was telling...
People, yeah, it could
Yes,
be expanded
yes,
to mean
yes,
government
yes,
and so on.
Yeah, of course. Now, the thing is that one of the functions of government is to constantly make laws that make bad behavior difficult. Believe it or not, you would have thought that in 2019, if we are where we were in 2019, perhaps this aggression you're seeing on voters may not have been there. But Beavers appears to be tightening the hose.
Yeah, the news.
Yes, the news a bit. It may not go as far as I would.
Yeah, because the INEC chairman talked about recovering 2 or 3 of the Beavers' Beavers machines that were stolen, which is saying there must be something about the Beavers which makes the crooks go after.
It makes it harder for them to attain their goals.
So and that's why they say you had better not voted. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What they are saying now is you had better not voted. They are not even saying if you vote, you no vote, we go enter. They are saying you had better not voted. So it is so, and that's the more difficult part. Getting people not to. If that before you could be in your house, you could be waiting there at the polling unit. I mean Lagos, so many places now. You'll be waiting. By 6 p.m. they say somebody he has won. No, you people are waiting to vote. He has OT Wale. He has won. And you said we've been waiting here since morning. His English you speak. He has gone. He has gone. but yeah.
Those days it was so bad that those who didn't even run for elections were penciled in. Those that ran, they had won. Their names were cancelled.
Yeah, were cancelled.
Those that did not
never did anything.
Names
got in.
So we've been improving. We've improved a lot over the years.
Oh, really? Yeah, and that's why they're doubling down.
Yeah.
That's why they are doubling down the way they are. Now the fact is,
they mean
the thugs and their sponsors. Okay. Now it means that we have the president who we believe can make things work in Nigeria by 2019. By 2027. We should ever be before 2027 in the obstacle elections. We should have adopted technology that is more advanced than Beavers.
Yeah.
Okay. So that
possible.
Yes. Who was I even telling this afternoon during our break? I said any system that good men run away from is a bad system. It's a system doomed to fail. More and more people who could ordinarily have turned things around are looking at politics and turning a blind and saying, I will not take part in it because this system does not favor people of ideas and reason to be involved. Somebody that went to run for office. I think we went to meet a godfather to say, I'm interested in politics. I believe I can bring change and so on. And they asked him, can you kill and be killed? I think I had something like that many years ago. It was, as I said, can you? That was a recruitment to become a political
that was a test. Test question.
Yeah, the test question. Can you kill and
number one question. But then if people keep running away and saying it's a dirty game.
No, sorry. If I could just land. If people now see that rigging is becoming more and more difficult, okay, and before 2027 we tighten it even more, you would see that men who have self-belief and who are men of ideas will begin to say, okay, can we begin to put our feet in the water once again? Once that begins to happen, democracy, like I said, was designed for people of it was made for minds,
yes,
not for the belly. It's for minds. So when people like that can begin to get involved once again, I can assure you that in a short space of time we can roll back the years. Everything that citizens just keep on saying we've lost in 63 years can be rolled back in 10.
Yes,
can be rolled back in 8, in 4, if we get men who understand what who can get the job done and won't have to bribe anybody to get there.
You see, for example, in Britain, in Britain, the best minds go to politics. The British, you still have the aristocracy, the kings and the queens. But over the years, the masses had no power. But when even the masses got empowered, they chose to still elect the elite to power, the lords, the aristocrats into power. And in the U.S., I think in Germany, the best minds go to the military. In the U.S., the best minds and semi-best minds go to politics, But in Britain, it's strictly best minds, Yeah. So with your optimism, with what you're expecting that can happen in future, with the improvement on the electoral process, then the best minds in Nigeria will start going back into politics. And it will be like in the days of the Azikiwes, the Awolowos, the Chikobis, and so on.
Tochukwu,
and so forth. Yes.
I'm sorry, may I react like this? Don't you think you are dreaming?
No, there's nothing wrong with dreams. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream.
Okay.
That one day, my 4 little children will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Wasn't Obama many years later judged by the content of his character and not the color of his skin? And that was made him president. So it all starts with a dream. And dreams do come true.
Can I even ask a question, citizen? Today in Nigeria, where are our best brains? Is it in the academy?
Jackpa.
I'm not so sure that
they don't all jackpa.
I'm not so sure that they find sanctuary even in the academia. I'm not so sure. In sports, I'm not so sure. In politics, it's a far cry. I think that by and large, perhaps the young men who are leading the revolution in fintech, as well as those who are now doing some work in the music sector, perhaps those are the areas where Nigeria is making waves globally. But apart from that, I don't think our best minds are finding sanctuary in any of the key and critical sectors in the country. That's an alarm. Ideally, no government sits back to fold its arms, okay, and watch the sizable chunk of its youth, that the energy of its economy just run. It's like a hemorrhage. No country folds its arms and watches its citizens run away. But in Nigeria, the case is different. The case is in fact, I think that they deliberately even create a climate that makes it inconducive for them to stay. So they have nothing to do other than to pack their bags and just walk away. Canada won our first Olympic gold medal in 1988 or 89. It was by a Nigerian. Francis Obikwelu was a Nigerian sprinter for a long time. Nothing came of it. Went to Portugal. I think he won a bronze medal.
Silver. In the 200 meters.
At some point, but believe me, I'm on a particular WhatsApp group where they discuss football and sports. Somebody was watching the Nigerian under-20 national team playing against, I think, the Pharaohs of Egypt.
Yeah.
And he came and commented and said that the Flying Eagles labored so hard to overcome the Egyptians by a goal to nil. But looking at these people playing for Nigeria, he just couldn't reconcile it. These are fathers and grandfathers. These are
posturing us under 20.
As under 20.
Okay.
In 1996, Adoke Amesimaka signed. No, that young man finished secondary school, I think in 96. And he was, is it 16 years? And in 1998 he was 18. So Adoke Amesimaka signed him for Sharks FC of Port Harcourt, as it was then known. To play. Then in 2009, that player came back to play for Nigeria in the Under-17 World Cup.
anything is possible.
In Nigeria,
he's a stand-up comic.
With Nigeria, all these are possible. All these are possible. Now, the matter is this. The matter is this.
Yes.
The matter is this. We were a country that in 1985 had the likes of
Kanu
Wankwo and so on, who played in Kodak 85 and conquered the world
with their Olympics in 1996.
You know,
yes,
and it was their real ages. I learned that Babayaro Celestine got to the airport, just to tell you how young he was. Got to the airport, the aeroplane, the blades on the plane were blowing so hard that they had to hold him or something like that. Because
make breeze no carry.
Daniel Lamokachi.
Yes.
My former boss, Babaji Lotitoji, told me that he watched him in Kaduna as a player with Ranchers Bees. He was an SS2 student.
Yeah.
SS2 student. In that game, he dribbled the entire, from the midfield, he dribbled all the players, including a defense made up of Super Eagles players who are playing in the local league then. He dribbled all of them flat and scored a goal. So those kind of raw talents. Yeah. And do you need to tell me that they are not in Nigeria today? They are still there. Victor Osimhen is doing today so well in Napoli. At the former employers.
In Italy.
At the former employers, when they came to the interview before they went for the World Cup, for the Under-17 World Cup, he ran out of the studio. When we were about to interview, then he said, no, they didn't want to. That's how young men, a real teenager, he was shy.
Yeah. He didn't want to leave his mother and father.
The other one is one Kali also. They all came to be interviewed. But now, you will find a 30-something, somebody whose twin sister is celebrating her 40th birthday is playing as an under 20 player. Yes. What we need in this country is to believe again that what we had in 1960, we can reproduce it now. Well, if we had it in 1980, we can reproduce it now. It was in 1994, we can reproduce it. In 1990, we can reproduce it now. They are all there.
They're all there.
Leadership will never allow what is good to thrive.
Yeah, and he said in 1996 when Kanu Wankwo and his group won the Olympics, the world was so startled, so surprised. The American, there was to be the singing of the Nigerian national anthem. The Americans had no copy of the Nigerian national anthem. So in their whole calculation, Nigeria wasn't to win anything. So Americans were so baffled. When it was time to, when you give the goal, at a point you have to sing the national anthem of the country. They couldn't sing anything because they didn't have it. It should have been taped, And we can replicate these things. We can do them over and over. But in sports, for example, you know what happened? Before, sports experts, football experts went about even looking at players in the secondary school, picking the right
the
one.
Mosquito, butterfly, and
those little boys determined to play. They have the skills.
Tochukwu, now let's go back to politics and policy.
I want to give an example. It's all politics.
Okay.
Now those things do not happen anymore. Because now it's by recommendation.
By a politician.
Yeah, if somebody recommends you because I know him. So it's not a scout that comes to the field and pick up those that can have the skills, those that are willing to play. So that disrupted soccer. I don't want to say sports in general, but football in particular. So we need to go back to the drawing boards. All this empty big manism, all this I am this and without me nothing happens.
Written notes.
We must look into
Tochukwu, I agree. There's no shame in being wrong, but the shame is in correcting our mistakes. Politically, we've made so many mistakes in the past, but the mistakes remain. They persist, and you're wondering if these mistakes are not deliberate.
No, if we even get things right citizen, if we get things right in 2023, believe me, at least even with the presidential election, see what is going to happen. Political parties in Nigeria don't go shopping for credible candidates. They don't do it.
Yeah.
In fact, if you saw the crassness with which they were just, with which they jostled for office, they first talk to themselves, among themselves. Not to them, not to the voter. As far as they are concerned, the voter comes last. This is why you hear things like it is our turn. zoning, for whatever it is, what was and all, I'm not against zoning. I really couldn't care about zoning. But how is it that the parties are not first concerned about how to sell their candidates to the voter? They are more interested in whose turn it should be. In which case, half the people that they even put up, you hear case of certificate forgery, all kinds of. Yeah. But if they knew that their
electorate will reject
this, yes, I'm telling you, they will start go to place and say, former vice chancellor, please come and run for office. That was how
you distinguished executive businessman
in banks.
Yeah,
you know.
Okay, gentlemen, may I share one or two stories that have come in? The EFCC, for instance, a team of EFCC operatives who were on duty monitoring the presidential and National Assembly elections was on Saturday, February 25th, 2023, that today attacked by political thugs near Chief's Palace in Buhari Area Council of the FCT. The attack followed the arrest of a man for allegedly masterminding a well-orchestrated vote-buying procedure at the polling unit situated at Science Primary School, Buhari. Okay?
That's in the north of Buhari.
Federal Capital Territory.
But why attack them? They were in Lagos here too. I think one of the stories I read was that they were even at the polling unit where Ballot Tinubu voted. You know, so if they went about, look, somehow I think sometimes we just need to encourage these people. They may not always be up to their game, but you see the NDLEA who are also on the streets of Lagos today, NDLEA, NSCDC, the police, the army, where you see them being able to muster some energy to do their work, just allow them, you know, do what they ought to do. Except people can just feel, are they being partisan also then? But I think that where we see them, we should give them the benefit of the doubt.
We're attacked by talks. It's the talks that are partisan, not the EFCC. The EFCC were doing their job.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
they should be given room to do their work.
But the talks are sponsored and instructed to do whatever they are doing. So evidently some politicians are not comfortable with the work the EFCC
is doing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And so you, at that point, you are talking about enemies of Nigeria, enemies of the state.
Now, the other thing I was going to say was this: how is it not possible for us to put cameras
in every polling unit?
Certainly, or at least in identifiable flashpoints. They say it cannot be done until a man comes and says it can possible. Be done. Yeah. It's possible, and then says, "Let us even begin from here." Let's give it a try. INEC situation should not just be to be because it shouldn't just be to be receiving reports of I don't know what kind of reports they receive, because all the reports that came during the briefing, the chairman acted like he was even hearing them all for the first time. I'm thinking that if voters thought that INEC people didn't come on time and we are beginning to improvise and vote, so nobody saw them doing it, but journalists saw it. So I think that it won't take anything away from us. Let's see if we can put cameras in these places. If it will reduce these things significantly.
Yeah,
it will reduce it. Because even the man who employs a talk and makes him a talk year in, year out, is not helping that talk. He is reducing his life.
The talk can be promoted.
We saw
the talk
video
can be killed. The talk can
like what we saw this afternoon in a video. Where talks went somewhere and then they were shot dead. So I think that to help this process, it is to go purely technological. Cameras, biometric voting.
That will help a lot.
Yes, it will. Mobile phone voting.
All right. We must take the news at 6.
Okay.
So we make ready for it. This is Nigeria Decides from the studios of the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM on your dial. And of course, this is a simulcast, as I said earlier on. We're on both radio and TV. And for the avoidance of any doubt at all, join TV on youtube.com/@VOP TV Live. And of course on radio, VOP Radio 90.3 FM. Please stick around.